Hello everyone, this is Whitney, host of Mountain Climbers and a fellow mountain climber myself. And today I have a very special edition of From Mountain to More with Whitney. I am so excited to launch my second book baby, More Than My Mountains. And I just really feel that this book is almost like a continuation of my first book, my picture book, More Than Your Mountains. And that book is for children who have illnesses, just to kind of let them know, despite their disease, God has an amazing purpose for them, and they are more than anything they have to face because of their disease. Now, this book is about my story. And I tell it in a real and vulnerable way because, I want people to know they're not alone. And I see them. I want them to feel validated. And I share what I experienced and lived just like I did in that book, talking about the MRIs, the shots, the scary and uncertain days. It's all in this book. I share it as real and as personally as I could. And one thing I love about this book is not only is my story in here, but stories of some of my mountain climbers guests are also intertwined in this book, as well as I sprinkled some mountain climbing applications for physical mountains that can be applied to life's mountains. So I'm so excited, and my prayer is that it will just give people hope, and it will reinforce to them that when their strength comes from the right source, there's not a mountain they can't climb. And this book, I know without a doubt that God had his hand on it, because as I wrote this book last year to submit to my publisher, I was very, very sick. I don't know how I did it. Some of the things I read after I submitted it, and once I got the hard copy in my hand, I was thinking, I don't remember writing this. I can't believe I wrote this when I was feeling bad and was dealing with brain fog and severe fatigue. That's how I know it had to be God, not me, guiding me writing this book. He just must have been guiding my fingers on the keyboard, because I don't know how I did this. Not of my strength, but of his strength. So I got to thinking about what do I want to share in this video and kind of tie in with my book. And so I had an idea, sometimes we're in the moment and we're facing that mountain and we're kind of panicked and we're not thinking clearly. We don't know what to do. So I wanted to give you a crash course in how to climb your mountain. And that way you can think of these 3 easy steps. Not necessarily easy, but they're easy to think of, and so that you'll have them in your head. So when you're facing a mountain and you're trying to climb that mountain, the first thing I would urge you to do is to focus on your joys and cans and not your cannots and pain. Because let me tell you something. The enemy is going to try to get you to focus on your pain and cannots, because he wants to try to prohibit you from getting to the top of the mountain, your mountain, and see the purpose that God has for you. That is like his worst nightmare, that you do what God created you to do, because that means you are impacting the world in an eternal sense, and you're stealing more souls from the enemy's clutches. And I don't know about you, but I love giving the devil a black eye. And so I know sometimes it's hard to find those joys in those cans when you're facing a steep and sharp and rigid mountain climb. But I assure you, every single day, there is joy. There is cans. And, you know, you woke up this morning. You were able to eat a good breakfast. You got in a car full of gas. You went to a job, and that's huge right now in this day and age, getting to go to a job. So there are things that you can look to every single day in the midst of a very hard mountain climb to just reinforce that it is worth it to keep climbing. Now, the second thing is know when it's time to say, I'm not okay. Now, that might seem a little contradictory to what I just said as far as the first point, but it's not. I assure you it's not. You see, sometimes we just have to admit, okay, I'm hurting and I need help and I need to reach out to my brothers and sisters in Christ and my prayer warriors and ask them to hold my arms up. And you know, it's okay because we live in a broken world and we're human and we're going to feel, we're going to have emotions. And the thing of the matter is that once we admit that we're not okay, we can start processing and working through that hurt and those hard times to reshift our focus and to look to the next mountain peak and what the next chapter of our story is going to say. Because trust me, I get it. I get it's sometimes hard to have to say, I'm not okay, because you don't want people to think you're complaining or you're being dramatic. And I know for me, for the longest time, I felt that if I said I wasn't okay, I wasn't able to handle my disease. I was a weak Christian that wasn't giving God the glory. And then several years ago, God started the process of healing me, which is so amazing. And once he started that, I had this very just confused, not correct way of thinking that if I mentioned my disease at all after I claimed healing, then I didn't believe it, or people were going to think, well, wait a minute, she claimed healing. She said God was going to heal her, and now she's telling us to pray for a low hemoglobin or to pray for her arthritis. And I realized that is just a warped way to look at it. Me asking for prayer and saying I'm not okay is nothing against God. I still claim his healing. He has started healing me. Blood counts are normal, that have never been normal, and it's amazing. And what I was doing is being in, almost denialism, in a sense where I wasn't recognizing my disease and God hadn't completely healed me yet. So that wasn't smart, and that wasn't using common sense. And I needed to understand that until God gave me that complete healing, it was okay to say, I'm not okay. I don't feel good. Please pray for me. And that's what I want you to know. If you're hurting, you're allowed to say that you were hurting. Because again, we live in a fallen world that's full of pain and turmoil. And sometimes we just need someone to hold our arms up. So never feel guilty or ashamed of saying, I'm not okay. Now, the third thing, and this is huge, and I've been guilty of this as well, I think we all have, do not compare yourself to other mountain climbers. Society has this just wrong way of interpreting when normal milestones for people should happen, such as marriage, children, dream job, your own home. And if you don't have these things by that age or timeline that society deems is normal, then you're behind. And that is so not true. And like for me, there's tons of things and seasons I thought I would already have gone through. To be honest, I thought I'd be married and have a couple of kids by now, but that is not in God's purpose for me right now. I truly believe He has the right man out there for me, but right now He has other things He wants me to focus on. And you know, there is no right way or a certain speed that you have to climb. And there is no perfect way to get to the mountain top. The only thing we can do is trust in God, ask for His strength as we're climbing, and above all, our Pastor Cal, our CC peeps, says this all the time. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit climbing. That is the most important mountain climbing application for life's mountains. Never stop climbing your mountain till you have reached the top. So those are the 3 things I think that are important when you need to think about, okay, how can I get to the top of this mountain? Those are the 3 things that you should think of instantly. Now, again, I say it's not easy to do all the time, but they are easy applications to remember and try to live by. Nobody's perfect. We're gonna get it wrong sometimes, and that's okay. As long as you trust God and know that you're never too powerful to switch up His plans, you're just not. I know that made me feel really good when I read that meme. It gave me some peace. You're never too powerful to switch up what God has for you. The only thing you can do is trust Him and keep climbing and give Him all the glory when He opens those doors and He makes a way for you. So anyway, I'm so excited. You can purchase my book, More Than My Mountains, on Amazon, and the link is below. And I would love to hear what you think, you know, not just about my story, but about the other stories of some of my mountain climbers guests and the mountain climbing applications. There's some things I never knew about mountain climbing, and I researched them and applied them and incorporated in my book, and they're really, really cool. So I don't want to give them away because I want you to read them, and I want you to have your own perspective and interpretation of what I read. And again, I just hope, above all, that it gives you hope to the fact that if I can climb my mountains, you can too, and you are more than your mountains.